Hello there. Welcome to day 17 of the KCM Teen Tournament. It's time to start the playoffs, guys. With match number 1, we've got Team Light versus Team Queen. We've got some good stats to bring up here. Take a look at the winning records here for a bunch of our players. Light has just been crushing it at 8-1 right now, but some unlikely heroes here have been carrying their team. Saxory's been doing very well, and Kahiri was 6-2. I'm surprised to see Zealot on this list. Aren't you, Shin?
Well, he's my boy, as you know, so actually I'm not too surprised to see him on this list. He's a very strong player. It is kind of shocking, though, when you see him kind of line up nicely with players like Hero and Sharp and still kind of performing at their caliber. And kind of like, it kind of makes me feel a bit more solid about my choice in him as a strong player. But yeah, I think it's a little bit surprising to see him that far up.
The Queen might be feeling the same way. Happy with his choice there, picking Zealot. It feels like he's really knocked off the stress of playing here in this tournament. He's playing more like his usual self, and hopefully he'll bring out another great game today. I've got some news here about the playoffs as well. Upon deeper investigation, I've realized that there's a lifeline here for our players in match number 1. Both Light and Queen have made it through to the finals and won in either the first or second half, so they have some preferential treatment here. Whichever one of them wins will go on to match number 4, and whoever loses will drop down into match number 3 to face the winner of match number 2, which is Team Hero and Team Bisu. Team Hero got second place in both the first and second half, whereas Team Bisu didn't make it into the finals, but they had the most points, so that's why they're here in match number 2. Now, they're on single elimination here. If they lose in either match 2 or match 3, they are out. And our finals is going to be played in match 4. That's the grand finals. That's going to be on December 13th. So I hope that clears things up. Taking a look at the lineup here today, we're going to have Kahiri versus JB, starting off with that ZVZ match, going right into Killer versus Barracks, which I think is going to be one of the most explosive matches this series. I think Barracks has been performing amazingly. He's been really crushing it. I'm surprised to not see him on that list we saw earlier. Maybe he didn't quite have the win rate to make it up there, but I thought he's been playing fantastically. Maybe that's just my bias. Zealot, your boy's going up against Ruin. How do you feel about that matchup?
I'm very excited to see that matchup. I have a feeling that it might be some kind of cheese. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's going to be a good match either way. Ruin's a very talented Protoss player, though. He's going to give Zealot a run for his money.
Well, Toss Girl hasn't dropped a game yet this season. She should be able to walk over Anna here. We'll see, though, what Light has helped her to prepare. Then it's on to Light versus Queen. That should be a great set number 5. Hoping to see the ace match between those two as well, but at least we're gonna get that set number 5 between these two team captains. And then finally Mine versus YSC. That's a toss-up for me. I'm not sure how Huro's doing in PvP. Mind, of course, very smart player. I've just realized that we've forgotten to put the names of the maps this week, so it'll just have to be a mystery here going into game number 1. All right, our ZVZ of the night. Here we go with Kahiri versus JB. We are on Neo Sylphid. Surprise! I think this map has been thrown out first quite a bit here for the ladies players.
Yeah, it's very popular map. I can't fault it either. But I think statistically one of the most balanced maps we have available to us as well. So I think we're gonna be happy about that going forward. It's ZBZ though, so the map balance is not really going to come into play too much. Besides like things like Overlord scouting patterns and timings you can get away with early pools and stuff. So in this case, we're going to be seeing probably just like a 9 pool versus 12 hatch. But Kahiri's actually setting out like a 9 hatch timing here, so it looks like we're going to see a 9 hatch instead from Kahiri, going for the lava optimization. Wants to get a lot of Zerglings out early on, maybe trying to end the game as quickly as possible. And this is a very good map for like 9 hatch, 10 hatch kind of play. So it would be interesting to see if JB just goes for this 9 pool here and then just gets crushed, because there's going to be so much more Zerglings coming out of Kahiri.
She should have to take this very, very seriously. Hopefully she's not going to produce any drones from this point. Just maximize her Ling production here and get that Spire out as quickly as possible. Maybe even build a sunken here in the main base. That's probably going to be necessary. But does she identify this? Is she going to see what's coming here? She doesn't have an Overlord over near Kahiri's base, so she has no idea that there is a 9 hatch coming.
Yeah, and Kahiri's won the coin flip on the Overlord scouting pattern, so it's actually going to be completely blindsiding JB as a result, and that's a bit of a issue because I don't know how she's going to respond to this accurately enough without the information to go on as well. Like, she won't even know the hatchery timing to know this is 9 hatch until it's too late. So it's going to be really devastating for JB. Once the Zerglings come in here and see how far the creep has spread from the hatchery, she will be able to identify that it's a 9 hatch because the creep wouldn't have been spread out that far. So she'll know, oh, okay, it's not a 12 hatch, but it's a little bit late when she's finding this out.
For sure. And just hoping that she's not producing any drones right now. She just needs pure Ling, and the moment she identifies this, needs to send these Lings back home. Maybe keep a couple out on the map for a counterattack, but you really don't want to be losing these early Lings here. She's going to come in, gets 1 kill. All right, that's a good kill, but you really got to keep these alive right now. These Lings are super important for the defense of this kind of mass Ling that's about to come out here for Kahiri. Another great kill there. Now just heading home would be perfect. Yes, excellent play from JB, actually. Getting 2 kills on a couple of Lings for free, and now heading all the way back home with the remainder. She's going to get her Spire on the way. She may even want to throw down a Sunken Colony here, but with those early kills, maybe she doesn't need to.
With the 2 Ling kills is actually pretty good for her. I still think she may need a sunken, but it's still fits. There is a very tight choke for her to hold here. So with a good Ling line on this choke, she might be okay, and she also will have Ling speed advantage, I think, if she's put Ling speed right away after the lair. So here I think she's actually okay. I don't think she even needs to make a sunken colony. She may still want to do that if Kahiri really pulls the trigger here. But yeah, so far though, I haven't seen JB set up a very strong Ling line, so I'm a little bit concerned that Kahiri can still come in here.
There's the Sunken Colonies, so she's doubling down on this defense. Kahiri likewise doubling down on the offense, just continuously building Lings right now. She will build an Evolution Chamber as a follow-up here, so she does have a backup plan. Once the Mutalisks are out, she's going to buy time with these Lings trying to break in here, just coming in right as the Mutalisks are coming out. So the Mutalisks will have to, stay and fight most likely to clear out these Lings a little bit more efficiently. But here we go. That'll buy time for the Spores to come up back at home for Kahiri, but she's trying to break through here. She really needs to get in. But this is very good control from JB, having a few extra Lings attacking over Kahiri at any given moment, but it's just about time to fall back from this choke. Ooh, getting in here. Kahiri gets on top of this. Now going to go after this, the drone line here. Maybe after the Sunken Colony. Okay, we got to focus down as many drones as possible right now, but she's just going after the Sunken. I don't think this is the best use of these early Lings. 2 Sunkens finish. Then this is going to be completely cleaned up. I don't think that JB even lost a drone.
No, I don't think so. And I think that's a misplay from Kahiri because there's no way of resetting the economy of JB now. And this is going to be a bit of a sticky situation. I think she's going to try and hide some Lings out on the map and maybe go for a counterattack. But yeah, I don't like this for Kahiri. I think she's kind of like throwing away her win percentage a little bit there by just trying to target down the Sunken.
Yeah, killing a few drones will put you in a position where you can potentially drone up, get into your natural, get a Spore over there and have a good game. Now she's going to go for drones this time because Kahiri, or JB, excuse me, didn't have any Lings back at home. She gets 3 drones, a 4th going to go down here. So actually dealing a lot of damage, just 2 drones left over. So this is actually the damage that Kahiri needed. Is she going to transition out of this though? I don't see a Spore at the natural, and I don't see any drones hatching right now either. She's going to come in here and try to get the rest of these, I guess.
Yeah, and she's kind of distracting JB right now with these lings out on the map. So JB's not really getting anything in the natural to delay a spore going up. So now Kahiri can sneak a little spore in the natural. Especially if she hides it from this overlord, she can kind of sneak up the spore there and get that stabilized and then have a winning position. So far looking okay for JB. She's killed so many drones and now can come in trying to threaten more ling counterattacks and try and come in yet again, keep these mutas back at home while she's building that spore back at her natural expansion and kind of stabilizing her position in a pretty exceptional way.
Should be popping out some drones here pretty soon. You can even start to, you know, put down Sunkens and just mass spore at this point. You've got such a drone advantage here as Kahiri. Of course, you don't want to get carried away, but just getting the proper defense here, getting the drones out to really saturate this natural, get that second gas online. Everything has just gone really Kahiri favored here all of a sudden with these Ling counterattacks. And JB chasing down Lings right now. She's done 0 damage to the economy of Kahiri. She's got to go out and find some overlords. She's got to go find some damage here somewhere. Maybe over at the bottom of the main base or something like that. But she really has to take seriously these Ling counterattacks because her drone control just not the best. She's got 2 sunken colonies in here. That should be enough to hold everything off, but she's being really defensive with these mutas right now.
Yeah, she's right now it's giving so much breathing room to Kahiri to just drone up and do her own thing. And right now JB's still not mining gas, so still not going to be taking a wider advantage with that mutaless tech for quite some time. It's going to be a while before she starts going back to mining gas, probably starting now to mine gas with the next drone or 2. But that's going to be a really rough situation for her going forward because now she's going to be up against double the production from Kahiri, and we'll also be getting into our own tech soon, so it won't be long before she's producing her own mutas, and eventually she will come online and be ahead of JB. So JB's gonna have to either like try and take an expansion sometime soon, which will be exceptionally difficult with the more lings and stuff. And yeah, I don't know how JB's gonna navigate a win here. I think it's gonna try and catch Kahiri off guard somehow, but I don't see how that's gonna happen.
Well, Kahiri has taken her time here getting back into her macro. She built a lot of lings after killing all of those drones to keep the pressure on, and she's getting the drone count up now, but there's not a huge gap in terms of supply right now, and we're actually going to be able to get in there. JB maybe find another overlord. There's one down in the bottom left, and I think there's one in the natural as well. If maybe that's a ling, I'm not sure. Okay, it's a ling. There's the natural.
We got Hydra 10 coming up there, Sam. So we're going to see Hydras, which makes sense because she's delayed her lair so long. It makes sense that she'd now go for Hydras. And she sees the exact timing of the natural expansion of JB with that hidden ling as well. So she knows what she's going to be up against. And just going to come in here at the main base, be a little bit annoying with this one ling. Not probably going to get a drone kill or anything, but knowing the exact timing of that natural expansion is going to be putting her into a bit of a comfortable mindset. And yeah, going forward, I'm not too sure about this. I feel like Kahiri's in a better situation, but I still feel like JB isn't too far behind the curve.
Yeah, definitely Hydraless tech can be difficult to pull off. We'll see what Kahiri wants to do with that. If she's just going to go for like a mass Hydra play and just try to smash JB here as soon as possible, or if she wants to, you know, take her time, go for double upgrades. Maybe get into a hive, maybe go Defiler, that type of thing. Play more of a defensive game. We'll have to see. But right now, JB's got the superior tech. I would consider Mutalist for sure the superior tech, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would say mutas are by far superior to Hydras in almost every metric. Hydras are good against everything, but they're not great against anything. So yeah, generally speaking, mutas will be more advantageous to go for with their high mobility. And the Hydras are more microball on the ground, but mutas are more microball in the air. So yeah, mutas are the superior unit for sure.
Did she just see the Hydralist den? I feel like she did. I feel like she saw it just there by dipping in.
Maybe, but mutas don't have the greatest of vision range, but I think so.
Yeah, and I feel like JB's been very passive with these mutas. Like, she needed to get over here. She did get that final overlord, but she really needed to get in and scout things out a little bit better, because now the Hydras are out on the field and they're heading across the map. Okay, they're gonna stick back at home for now, but once those head across the map, it's gonna be dangerous for JB. She doesn't have any Sunkens or anything back at home, and Hydras are pretty good at clearing Sunkens as well.
Yeah, they're pretty good units when used correctly. One thing that has to be noted though is how abusable the mineral lines are in these expansions, because Sylphid is such a good map for Mutalisk harass that actually this position does favor JB, because the spores will not provide the same kind of coverage to the mineral lines as they would usually. So JB can come in here and abuse the drone count quite a lot, as we just saw there, coming in sniping quite a few drones. But right now Kahiri's not too worried about losing those drones. She has 3 hatcheries worth of production. She can remake those drones. It does slow down her Hydra production just a little bit, but it's nothing too much to stifle for what she's doing right now. She's just waiting for a critical mass of Hydras to eventually move out with maybe like 2-3 control groups with +1 attack, and then she'll be able to just move across the map and make it very difficult for JB to engage. But for the time being, JB has the micro advantage of being able to come in here and kill these drones, snipe Hydras off one at a time. So Kiri does have to be a little bit careful and not move out too quickly. And there's the +1 attack.
Yeah, the mutas here can be used kind of like mutas against Marine Tech in that matchup in Zerg versus Terran. You can just try to get to the edge of the mutas, catch some of the mutas that are, you know, trailing behind the group, pick them off, slow things down. Right now, JB having a hard time doing that, though. There's 2 Hydras here that are basically free right now, but she's just throwing down Sunken Colonies back at home because she's in a bit of a panic here, trying to hold this off. This is not the right way to deal with Hydra. You really need to get some damage on them before they really group up and start to fight you. There, with all of them standing and firing at the same time, that's not a winning situation for these mutas. This is about the worst engagement that you can possibly take right now, and Kahiri just gonna wipe out everything. GG here. JB taps out, not able to deal with the Hydralisk transition. She lost so many drones in the early game as well. Things went pretty much as we said, didn't they, Shin? Like the 9 hatch overwhelming with Lings. It didn't kill. She didn't get the drone kills right off the bat, but she got back in there and she got them. Surprising when you have 2 Sunken Colonies to get that many drone kills, but it is what it is. Now it's time for the match I've all been waiting for. It's Barracks versus Killer on Invader.
He said, "This is the match I've all been waiting for."
That's a Deadpool reference. What are you talking about, man? Come on, get with the times, bro.
My bad.
We're leaving that in. We're leaving all of this in.
All right.
Oh, wall in here at the front. Barracks is a little dangerous against a player like Killer, who's so aggressive. He might punish you here.
Yeah, it's a little bit aggressive, but Killer not going to be going for any kind of crazy pool timing. Seems just another 12 hatch or 12 pool actually. Could be 12 pool. Okay. So maybe some very quick Mutalisk timing here. He does like to play pretty aggressive on this map, so it would be interesting to see if he goes for that kind of same style he did before, where it's like very technical Mutaling play.
Well, Barracks is an incredibly aggressive Terran player. We've seen him tear other pros apart in the early game in all matchups on this channel. So we'll see what he wants to bring out here. Maybe gonna match Killer's aggression with his own. We've already got that gas down for Killer. He's starting his hatchery now. I haven't really seen this exact build. Are you familiar with this, Shun?
I'm not too familiar with the exact. Oh, you mean the exact timings of it? Yes, I'm fairly familiar with it. Basically, we're going to be seeing an earlier lair timing. It's basically, it's like a semi all-in way of playing Xur. You're trying to basically say, like, I'm going to get a slightly faster lair timing, slightly faster muta timing, but you have to do damage with it. You have to get something done with this style. But it does allow you to come in so much earlier that you can usually punish the Terran production because they just don't have everything online yet. Like you're there like another 20-25 seconds earlier than usual, so you can punish the turret timings a bit more efficiently. You can like get on top of the bioforce before they come a high enough count, and yeah, you can kind of like abuse the Terran player a little bit with good micro. But the Terran player obviously has some counterplay options. It's just you're just really rushing that tech to such a high standard that it forces the Terran into being very defensive and reactive, and it allows you to take the driver's seat so much more as Zerg.
All right. Well, let's see if Killer can grab the wheel here, jump in that driver's seat, and control this game, can drive this Terran player into the ground. Here comes some Marines out on the map. It's been spotted by Killer. He's got plenty of Lings. This is something that Barracks does a lot. He likes to put on this pressure. It's a kind of a light special, actually. Light is really well known for this, but this is not the situation to move your Marines out on the map, and Killer has plenty of Lings here. He's going for super early aggression. He's not playing greedy at all. So Barracks does keep his Marines back at home. He's just going to hide behind this wall for now. And I hope for his sake he's going to get turrets up in time here with the bunker at the front as well, because that's going to be a big hole in his defense here. Those two supply depots at the front.
Yeah, there is one mind game with this build where you can go Ling speed before Lair and do like an 8 to 10 Ling like fast stab at the early game to catch the Terran off guard. So which is why Barracks is so scared to come out with these bio units, because they could have been like a lot of Lings early on as well with this build order opening. So he wants to be very careful. Now he's going to come in and send out the Marines once he's confirmed the exact tech path of the Zerg, sees the Lair timing, sees how many Lings have been made, how many drones there are. So now he feels a lot more safe to come in. But the Ling run by is going to come in and see the exact timings of Barracks' play as well, which will now align Killer to time his Mutas with the production defenses of Barracks quite succinctly. So I would say this is actually advantage Killer, because the information war game actually favors him right now, being the guy that's in the commanding position to dictate the flow of the game. So right now I'd say this is slightly advantage Killer, but Barracks with the full intel read of his own SCV scout does give him the highest chance at defending this.
Let's see if Barracks has the defenses ready in time here. He moved out. He forced one sunken colony, and with a build as low money, as economically strapped as what Killer's doing right now, affording that one sunken colony is it's tough. It's rough. He hasn't gone for Ling speed here. He's invested everything into the Mutalisks. So all the gas has gone into these Mutalisks here, and he's going to try and get some damage done with these. Yeah, it's quite a bit faster than a regular build. Look at that. We're just hitting 6 minutes here, and we've already got about 6-7 Mutas in this stack coming in to deal that damage, but Barracks has his turrets up with plenty of time here.
Ooh, yeah, but it looks like Killer's found the one pocket of weakness before on the top side of this gas. Now he's going to swing back round to the academy, which is going to force the bio to come back. He will get a little bit of exit shots on these Mutas. I don't think he'll... Oh, he loses one Muta. Okay, that's a little bit dicey for him. Link going to be running into the natural expansion, identifying how many turrets have been made. He sees there's 5, so he knows, okay, it's a pretty strong defense here, but it's still breakable. So he's going to keep making Mutas for the time being. Try and come in and snipe a few of these turrets. He's going to use these depots to bait the bio off of the line to come out and trade some of those off as well, because these depots can't go down right now for Barracks. They can die later and be sacrificed, but right now he needs to keep these depots alive, and Killer knows that, so he's going to be trying to put the pressure on. Oh, these medics are out of position, gets both of these medics sniped. That's huge for Killer, and now there's nothing healing these bio forces, and now they're going to be dying very quickly to the whole shot control of the Killer's Mutas as well. So Barracks right now, this one turret that's on the depots is the only thing keeping him alive in this game right now. If he didn't remake that turret, I think he would just lose right now.
I think that if Killer had Ling speed, he'd be hammering that Z button right now to try and finish this guy off. Killing those 2 medics was massive. The Marines are just not going to have much power here anymore, and just mass turret going down for Barracks, which means Lings would be very powerful in this situation. Hydralisk Den going to come down for Killer, so he's realized that maybe needs a transition point here. Going to go into Lurkers from this spot. Coming back in, getting a few more SCV kills. He's tempted to head south here into the main base, but Barracks is already in position to block that off.
Yeah, Barracks has thrown down the sort of 7-minute starport timing as well to get that sort of the Valkyrie clock going. He knows he needs some kind of like anti-air pressure here to deal with these mutants, and that's actually going to be suiting Killer just fine. Oh, the scan goes down, sees the den. Now he's going to be feeling not as confident about this Valkyrie switch. He's going to be worried about the Lurker follow-up just after he starts to get his Valkyries online. So, you're not the most ideal situation for Barracks. And Barracks knows that. Now he's going to start to move out into the map, put a bit of pressure onto Killer as well, and doesn't want to allow this transition to go. Oh, beautiful catch on that. And now swinging back around into natural expansion, he can still just break open Barracks if he's not careful. There's not enough Bioforces out on the maps to worry about at the moment. He can just come in here and clean up all these Marines of these 11 mutants with a +1 attack.
Yeah, that was a bit rough catching the rallies there of Killer. He lost like 2-3 mutas all in a row there. You know, he lost those rallies, and now he's taking quite a bit of damage on these, lowering that count by a lot. Barracks is starting to feel like he's going to be able to stabilize here. He's popping out one Valkyrie, but I think it's really important that he gets into Science Vessel soon here. He does have the machine shop added on to his factory, so he'll definitely be going for some tanks. And this fantasy build here might be just the ticket to take down Killer, who's investing all of his resources right now into this Lurker transition.
Yeah, the tanks will definitely give him a real big chance at just smashing Killer right now. Without the tanks, he'd be in a little bit of trouble without the vessels. So they're very needed in this composition for the time being. It seems like so far though, Killer has done a great job of putting himself into a rather nice position going forward. It's just that the longer the game goes on, the more Barracks favored it becomes. So Killer does have to take advantage of this game state right now, and he will probably be making some plays for just crushing this Bio-Valk force. The second it comes out onto the map, Killer's going to want to try and set up a position to just overrun it. Oh, but this beautiful scan from Barracks. He knows everything right now. Really well played from Barracks. He's got such a good star sense in this game. He kind of knows the risks and what he needs to identify and what will make him lose and what will make him win. And I'm really impressed by Barracks right now, positionally, like how he's going about this game. He's now going to be able to shut down this pressure play from Killer a lot more efficiently than he would have usually if he tried to come out onto the map and tried to put some pressure on. He would have probably lost the majority of these forces very cost inefficiently. But now instead he's going to retain his standing force, get some more tanks out, and make it much harder for Killer to come in and do any damage. And this puts Barracks into a much higher winning state.
Ooh, he's going to come out here and try to fight the Lurkers. Big spines there. All 4 Lurkers do go down, though. That was a little bit impatient from Barracks, I feel, but getting on top of this with the Valkyries is going to kill a lot of these mutas. 2 Valkyries did go down, but they did their job, softening up all these mutas and actually killing the majority of them. Killer's just looking almost down and out at this point. His last hope going to be this hive, which is not even complete at this point, I think. Lurkers going to be picked off here. Another siege up in the front. Barracks just looking a little bit too solid.
Yeah, Killer was trying to be sneaky there, some hold position Lurkers to try and get a nice little cheeky ace up his sleeve comeback play there, which can happen. Sometimes they don't notice that there's hold position Lurkers and you just kill all their Marines, and that can help you come back into the game here. But Barracks is a little bit too smart for that. He's going to be very cautious about how he moves out of this map. He knows he's in a great position. He just knows he just needs to keep trading well, keep macroing hard, and he should be able to win this game. He needs to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, and the game should be in the bag. But Killer going to try and rotate around to try to do some kind of counter-attack once Barracks starts to move out onto the map. I'm not sure how successful that will be, but he's going to attempt it anyway by the looks of it.
Ooh, an SCV catches wind of this. Barracks just so good. Keeping vision on the map, realizing that this is the desirable counterattack path here, but a hold position Lurker on this high ground. There's a science vessel. Man, Barracks is just crushing it right now. He knows everything.
Yeah, he's playing like a beast right now. He's kind of like really impressing me thus far. He's managed to deflect the early pressure, and he's transitioning really well. Like I've been very impressed with him. I can't remember when it was, but the last few months we've been watching him play. He's just been playing better and better.
Yeah, Akila going to try to dive on this. He's hitting from both angles, going after the science vessel. He should get the science vessel. Very nice connection there, and the Lurkers coming from behind wipes everything out. That was an impressive, surprising victory there for Killer.
Wow, yeah. We were just saying about how good Barracks has been playing, and then Killer's like, "Yeah, I still got it. I'm still a murderer, you know." Like, It's like some sort of like horror film where like you're able to fight back against the serial killer, and you're doing it like you've set up lots of traps for him, and he's basically bloodied, and you think you've killed him like 3 times, and he's still coming back for more, and yeah, eventually he stabs you in the eye and gets you.
Well, Killer, he's not out of the woods just yet. There's another lurker gonna go down here. He's gonna set up another hold position play. I think his Defiler's mound is done. He just needs a little bit more time to get this Defilers out on the map with their consume and hopefully get some sort of counterattack play. I think he's rallying units down towards the center of the map, the bottom left center part of the map, and he's gonna try and come through that tiny little choke point and throw down some Dark Swarm on top of some lurkers and just really slow down Barracks, because without the kind of mass of Science Vessels, it's going to be super difficult to actually clear lurkers under Dark Swarm. He's only got 1. There it is. Okay, so he's got 3 lurkers. He's going for the natural. He should have something back at home. Hopefully he's got a Defiler there to defend as well. There it is, Defiler for the defense. He's coming up towards this natural. He's going to run right up in here, and this is going to be big trouble now for Barracks.
Yeah, once the Defiler has made its way all the way to the mineral line like this, it's really annoying for the Terran player, and he can't even kill the Defiler yet as well. So if more Lings can get down here, he can keep leapfrogging forward with more consumes, or at least continue the position by throwing down more. They're going to have to evacuate the SEVs now. That's going to reduce the economy further of Barracks, reduce the production quality he can manufacture right now. He's going to be coming down to his bottom left quadrant on the map to take out this expansion here, but using his entire army to kill this one hatchery is not really that efficient. Meanwhile, Killer's going to be having a field day, slowly pushing up here. He's going to try and get some more Zerglings down into this location to start consuming and pushing forward as well, and it's going to be really troublesome for Barracks to have to deal with. He has got some Firebats holding the top of the ramp, so he can't just flood in the gates here with the Dark Swarm, so he will have to be a lot more methodical. Looks like Barracks actually wants to go for the counter attack, gets down with the 5 stims, 5 bats, and just tries to ravage these burrowed lurkers. Only kills 1 of them thus far. Here comes the Scourge though, catches the vessel. That's a huge pick off for Killer.
That was a massive win for Killer there, getting that Science Vessel. He's still got 2 lurkers here under the Dark Swarm. He needs to get reinforcements up. Barracks is coming back now to deal with this, and keeping Barracks on 1 base, the longer that this happens, the longer that he's able to do this, the better position Killer is going to be in, bringing 2 more lurkers forward. He does need to get a 3rd base online eventually. This is not going to end up killing Barracks, but it's really slowing him down here and giving Killer an opportunity to get that next base operational.
It looks like a dropship's being loaded up right now, saying to try and put on some counter pressure to Killer and stop this from occurring for too long. But it looks like, yeah, it's going to be taking a long time for Barracks to come in and fully clean this up. I still feel like Barracks can stabilize here and take the win. It's just that right now it's so frustrating for him to have to deal with this, and Killer's being as annoying as possible to him right now. We do have this dropship making its way into the main base of Killer right now, though, so we're going to be seeing some damage here. 2 Scourge ready to intercept at a heartbeat, and only 1 Marine's actually going to make it out, and 2 Lings also ready there to try and deal with that. The medic did make it out, so the Mutas will have to come in here and save the day, but yeah, really well played from Killer. He's kind of on top of everything right now and keeping the pressure on for a very long time, and Barracks is starting to get frustrated and wants to put on some counter pressure with his now infantry force in the center of the map, and I'm not sure how successful this is going to be for Killer in the long run, but he is getting this 3rd base online now. He has still managed to delay this natural expansion. Greater Spire could be coming out from Killer as well, giving him another win condition here with some Guardians. So this is a really interesting game with a Nidus Canal set up as well to defend this expansion in the bottom left and get that mining quickly. I feel like Killer's in a pretty good spot, but yes, be careful, because right now Barracks wants to just end the game.
Yeah, Barracks right here at the natural. He can hit this Nidus Canal from the low ground, so bit of poor positioning on that Nidus Canal. Unfortunately, going to end up losing that. One Defiler making its way down here, could be targeted by the tanks, and is targeted by the tanks here. These Lings are not going to do anything, but 2 lurkers going to come down. They are irradiated, so they're not going to last too long. Barracks actually looks to be breaking through here at the front, and Killer, although he's played a brilliant game overall, I think this might just be the end for him. There's the Guardians making their way up here to the natural, but GG is called. It's not going to be enough. barracks. My goodness, the Terminator here just will not stop crawling forward, and he rolls through killer there. That was some impressive Terran play. Ooh, all right, well, after that action-packed game, we're gonna have Zealot versus Ruin. This should be a fun one as well. I really interested to see what Zealot brings out here. This man is crazy with the drops in this matchup. He really loves to use drop, and this is the perfect map to do it.
Yeah, I would love to see some drops from Zealot here. There's a wide array of play available to this man. He is the king of builds, so to speak, or at least the king of the cheese builds, you could say. He's got like 50 to 100 different builds he can kill you with. You don't quite know which one he's going to choose until it's hitting you in the face like a ton of bricks, and it'd be a little bit frustrating because he's also very good at multi-tiered cheese, where it's like 3 different levels of cheese all packaged into one tasty triple cheese pizza. You know, he's like he's a chef. He's a maestro. You know, he likes to pack it up and cook it nice and hot for you, and yeah, he'll deliver it straight to your door.
The cheese pizza Zerg, the cheese pizza player. See if he's got the stuffed crust here for us. Zealot in the bottom left here, horizontal spawns. He has that third base of Ruin kind of pointing towards him, which, I mean, everything here is just looking like just so perfect for a drop. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him do it. Now he's opened up very normally here with the overpool, and he's going to go ahead and take his natural pretty soon. He's yet to spot his opponent, but his Overlord's just going to make it into the natural now. And he will spot out that Ruin's gone for a Forged Fast Expand. And this is going to give Zealot a lot of leeway on the map, right? He's not going to have to deal with early aggression out of Ruin. And he's just going to have kind of free reign to move around as he wishes here in this early game. And oh my goodness, okay, Ruin, it looked like he was actually going to wait and put down a Nexus first, but that would have been incredibly scary.
Yeah, I think that he was maybe trying to bait Zealot into committing to Zerglings and then throwing down the cannon a bit belatedly to try and catch Zealot into committing too hard to Zerglings sooner than he'd like to. But I don't think Zealot's fallen for that trap. He only made 4. So yeah, he's pretty much lined up nicely. I think it was a little bit of a bait from Ruin to try and make him make 3 pairs of Zerglings instead of only 2. Maybe that was the idea there.
No, that makes sense, actually. Okay. I got it. It's... yeah, if you don't make any lings and he picks a Nexus, then you're going to feel pretty bad. But if you make those lings and then he makes a cannon, you're also going to be feeling bad. So it's it's a good move here out of Ruin to kind of optimize this build and try to force Zealot to make the least amount of drones possible. I like what Zealot's doing, taking this third base out at the front. I've seen a lot of Zerg players take the pocket third base, and it's rarely worked out in their favor, I feel. So seeing Zealot take this front base is making me feel pretty good right now.
Yeah, I feel happy about it. It's really interesting just how committed Zealot is to killing the scouting probe and how committed Ruin is to not losing the scouting probe, because they're both well aware of their play styles, and they know that this is probably the most important mini game of all time right now. Both not letting this probe get back into the main base and killing the probe and not letting the probe die. So very interesting series of events we're watching right now. This probe being like halfway across the map and still being attempted to be surrounded by these lings. Meanwhile, there is a Hydralisk den back at home for this 973 play, and right now another probe has, I think it has a Zealot actually coming out along the south side of the map. The Overlord did see that come out, but it's just stopping for a few moments and then it's coming across again. So I'm interested to see about the timing of this. Ruin, I think, might be able to identify the exact timing of the Hydralisks. If he comes in here and sees his third base, though, he's going to see 5 drones instead of 3, which is going to confuse him. But this other probe is going to be making its way into the main base to scout.
Ooh, and he gets a drone as well. This is not looking good for Zealot. The probe makes it into the main. He sees the Hydras morphing. He's going to come in here, get another drone. Okay, just barely not. Oh, he turns around. Doesn't get it. That was really, really close, though. Second Zealot going to be heading back home. Ruin should be building a bunch of cannons here, and yes, he is doing that. So everything's kind of gone in Ruin's favor here. He's found himself in a really good position now.
Yeah, Ruin's a very talented player. Always excited to watch him play. Just how he does like to approach this game can be interesting in of itself. We do see a Zealot making its way across the northern side of the map as well to try and come in for some counter damage once the bust is going to be set up from Zealot. So we're going to be seeing some units rally to the front here from Zealot, and then eventually the Zealot will make its way down into the main. That's very bit confusing, isn't it? Zealots and Zealots.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, there's a drone here. I don't know why there's a drone there. Okay, that's a really big mistake from Zealot, having to run away from the Zealot as he makes his way to the third base to go mine down there. 4 cannons now morphed in, so Zealot might want to consider a transition here, but he is, for the time being, going to be popping out more and more Hydras, so it seems like he's going to be committed to a frontal assault very, very soon. And these cannons are right up against the wall as well, so they will be able to be sniped fairly easy. So I feel like maybe there's a chance for Zealot to come in and bust. He's going to try and go for that in a few seconds here.
The Corsair making its way over towards that main base is going to see pure Hydra popping. So he knows for a fact this is all in by Zealot. Just needs to build more cannons. That is it. He's not added on any more gas. He's just dropping cannon after cannon after cannon. He's going to even add on another pylon here just to make sure that he doesn't get, you know, Artosis pylon out of this game. That one pylon there. You don't really often see that, but here we go. Okay, he's going to dive on top of a cannon. You don't often see one pylon get focused down. They are very high HP buildings, but just imagine if there was, you know, 6-7 cannons here and the one pylon that's powering them all gets picked off. That would be pretty big. That'd be a pretty hype moment.
Yeah, the other issue with doing that is that the pylons build quickly, so you can remake them very swiftly, and also they have an armor value, so they take so much longer to kill. So usually they just never get targeted down. So even if there's 4 cannons and 1 pylon, the cannons get targeted down to reduce the DPS of the cannons faster, rather than just shooting the pylon and then having all 4 cannons hit you the entire time. So almost always the cannons will be targeted rather than a pylon. It's very rare that you see the pylon being targeted, but it's interesting when you see those Artosis pylon situations.
Makes sense. We've got some hatches being added on here, kind of a half-hearted attempt to switch into macro once again here, because Zealot has built so much, so many Hydras. He's getting his second gas online, and I imagine that's for some sort of tech play here. He's got 1 evolution chamber. I'd be surprised if he's going +1 right now. I think that we're going to see like maybe an Overlord drop situation like I was talking about earlier, maybe a lurker, quick lurker tech out of Zealot as well. He's got to have something to deal damage, and then he needs something back at home that's powerful enough to stop a big counter attack from Ruin.
Right. Basically, there's like a tightrope that he has to walk right now. He has to tech up and also, you know, be able to weather the storm that Ruin's going to brew for him. And there is a few minutes that he has to get that going, does Zealot. So he is going to be re-droning up, making a lot of hatcheries. So he's going to be dotting his I's and crossing his T's right now, getting that mid-game production that he needs. So he needs like at least 5 to 6 hatcheries worth of production. 5 hatcheries of lurker tech, or 6 if he wants to stay on Hydras. So he is getting the tools that he needs in his arsenal to deal with Ruin, but it's going to be tough. I mean, Ruin's a very strong player, and he's weathered. He's going to come out now with a lot of speed Zealots and just try and overwhelm the position before the lurkers can get set up, and that's going to really frustrate Zealot's efforts, because he needs to set up a lurker contain right now. If he doesn't get this lurker contain set up and these Zealots get out onto the map, that's going to really make it difficult for him going forward, and he has nothing back at home to defend against these Zealots. He didn't want to have to make any kind of sunklins or anything, and here comes the additional Zealots rallied out from Ruin. Ruin's going to try and go for the game closer now, see if he can get a lot of pressure on, see if he can come into the main base and do a lot of damage, maybe snipe some of the tech buildings, maybe get a lot of drone kills as well. And so far, doing a great job is Ruin of getting these Hydras out of position and coming around from a flank on both sides to pincer these few Hydras that are kind of straggled out in the natural expansion area in front of the rally point, where the lurkers haven't yet finished morphing. And now the Zealot in the main base also getting more and more drone kills.
Ooh, this is so bad. Those Hydras just not getting onto this Zealot. He's got 5 kills. Oh, if everything else was going a little bit, or if this was going a little bit better, everything else was handleable here for Zealot. He managed to block his natural to keep Ruin out of the main with the majority of his Zealots. He's got his lurkers down in the front. of Rune's natural. He's got lurkers at every location, but he just lost so many drones there in the main base. It's really kind of heartbreaking here for Zealot.
Yeah, it's kind of heartbreaking, honestly, because if he just had like a little bit better control there, I feel like he's in a really good position, and he just couldn't quite get. He also done like a lurker egg block in the choke point. It would have been good as well, and he's gonna buy some time here with these lurker egg morphs. Keep these zealots pinned down this location, but eventually he actually lose these eggs because there's so many zealots that they won't actually survive. Yeah, he's gonna lose those. It's a little bit of an annoying situation for Zealot to have to deal with. He's also supply blocked constantly because he's using like one Overlord here, one Overlord there to this Corsair, and it's actually like really frustrating him. The Overlord did see the shuttle though, so if Zealot was paying attention, he knows the shuttle. I don't think he was even bothering to look though, so I don't think he has any idea that this shuttle is about to just make its way into this third base location and start to storm all of his drones.
He does see it. He did see it there with that other Overlord. Going to be able to evacuate this position. Has some Hydras moving down here as well. Should be able to deal with this without too much worry. Zealot going to go to work on the drone line there for a second. Main base going to be under threat here. Okay, drones are making their way back. You've got to be careful with that drone transfer. Don't want to lose all of those on one single patch. This shuttle's just going to find a little hidden location here down at the bottom center and wait for the proper moment. Here he comes. Big storm's going to come out. Huge storms here, dealing a ton of damage. Look at all the drone kills there. Just massacres that mineral line, and Zealot's position looking worse and worse. He does have sort of a containment going here, but there's still a ton of Zealots on the map, so he has to keep some stuff back at home to deal with that counterattack potential.
Yeah, there is 8 gateway worth of production, which is all that Ruin needs right now to keep coming out here. But eventually, this contain will get too strong for Ruin to deal with. But look at these Zealot counterattacks. There's not really anything here. There is a couple of lurkers that you can move over to the left-hand side, but there's nothing blocking these Zealots getting to the main base. And he's like the Hydralisk blocking the choke point that you can morph into a lurker. So these Zealots can't just come into the main base over and over again. And now here comes the breakout for Ruin as well. His whole position is not yet set up, and now with this high amount of Dragoons, he's going to easily bust open this position. Meanwhile, killing more drones in the main base is Ruin, devastating the economy of Zealot further while keeping the pressure on and disrupting the rally point of Zealot as well. So now with these Hydras like forced back from the Dragoons, there's no way he's going to snipe any of these Templars, and eventually Ruin's just going to mobilize his entire force, move across the map, and just wipe out Zealot.
Yeah, this is brilliantly done. The Zealot timing, the Zealot counterattack came in at the perfect timing, right as the push was ready to come out. He distracts Zealot with those run-bys into different bases there, and then immediately busts the lurker contain. You can see that Zealot had a ton of lurkers at the ready, but he just didn't have them burrowed properly, wasn't ready to fight that, and there's another big storm. This is kind of the nail in the coffin here. Zealot, he was already limping in this game, and he's just had his crutches pulled away from him. I think Ruin just like kicked out his crutches or popped his wheelchair tires here, and he's just going to grind to a halt now. Ruin coming forward with huge Dragoon numbers as he takes his third base. He should be able to crush this army and move in for the kill.
I think he just set fire to his insurance policy as well. It's looking pretty dire for Zealot going forward. I don't know how he's going to navigate his way to a win from this position. Third base now being taken for Ruin as well. And I don't think like Zealot even has the ability to transition into a hive for quite some time. And he kind of needs to right now. He needs to do everything and he can't do anything.
Yeah, he's in probably the worst situation you can expect to be in as a Zerg player. Just sitting here completely defensive while your opponent is getting into a third base, and he might be able to take that back natural. Oh, he's gonna get this. Okay, that's a big kill there, stopping the harassment, but he needed to get rid of that a long time ago before all this extra damage got done to his third base here. Looks like he's gonna take the fourth at the back natural, so that's something, but again, Ruin can just throw storms over that wall if he wants to deny that mining.
Yeah, here's the battle now. We got a lot of lurkers being cleaned up so efficiently by these storms. There's a high count of dragoons as well, so this Protoss infantry force is just going to make short work of this Zerg position. There is another flood of Hydras going to be coming in from the western flank, but there's just not enough critical mass of units for the Zerg to deal with this Protoss force, and the way the armies are lined up in parallel like this, it just really favors the Protoss in all regards. And now the Zerg trying to set up a pincer from both sides of this third base and natural expansion to try and come out here and attack from both sides, but there's not enough forces to do so. The choke points are small enough. GG, well played by Ruin, just absolutely tearing up Zealot apart.
Team Light coming out ahead here with 2-1 over Team Queen, but this should be evening things out. We've got Toss Girl, the undefeated Terran player, a tier 1 ladies champion. Gonna go up against Anna. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough for Anna. It's gonna be the 5th appearance for Tosco though. Only got 4 wins on the board, so even though she's undefeated, she needs to get a few more, notches on her belt, so to speak, and let's see if she can do that with Anna here. Anna has got a losing record against Tosco overall, of course, but certainly one of the players that maybe could give Tosco a run for her money. Anna can be quite good, in those late game macro situations. I just feel like overall though, Tosco is just far too experienced in how fluid she is with her army control that Anna might have a real tough job of it.
Yeah, Toss Girl really seems to have a gear for Protoss, and she seems to grind them down with incredible efficiency, no matter who she's playing against, whether it be Bohai or Anna or any of the other Protoss ladies players we've got. We almost saw her get taken down by Cadenzi, but the Zerg matchup is a completely different animal, and in the end, Cadenzi ended up kind of shooting herself in the foot, lost that game against all odds, I think, and now Toss Girl here playing in her element against Protoss. I don't know if Anna stands any sort of chance here.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that either. I think she's going to be in a little bit of trouble against Tosco. I mean, everyone's going to have a puncher's chance, but against the likes of Tosco, I don't know. It's looking really dicey. I'd even put Tosco as like an 80% favorite at least.
Well, Anna's going to give herself the best possible win chance that she can by putting down a Nexus first here, hoping for cross spawn. She's not lucky in that regard, but I don't know if Toss Girl is planning to do any sort of pressure play here. She's actually going gasless fast expand, so this is not a bad matchup for either side, right? It's pretty well even here with the Nexus first and the gasless fast expand. Neither player is going to have a real serious macro advantage, don't you think?
Yeah, and also the Protoss can be behind if they don't scout this early and do a safe variation of the build. And although the SUV and probe will kiss early on, so the probe scout will get adjusted, and she'll see this bunker expand timing pretty early on. So if she only makes one gateway here and doesn't do a safe variation of the build, yeah, she's making a forge actually, so she wants to play very safe and just like make a cannon in case there was some kind of marine pressure counterplay. But with the marine blocking the probe coming in here, she's not actually going to identify the bunker expand, so she won't realize that she's actually going to be behind the economic curve.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, she'd love to have the cybernetics core on the way right now, but she's not able to get in here and confirm the CC. Zealot is on the map, but being sent up north, I'm not sure where that's going. Maybe over here to the third base, just making sure there's not an eBay being made there or something like that. Gets a couple free shots on this SCV. SCV is going to come down and see that cannon, and Toss Girl is just going to be laughing here, knowing that she's in a great position with the cannon going down. There's no pressure coming right now from Anna.
Yeah, in fact, this is the worst case scenario for Anna going forward, I think, besides say losing her scouting probe or something. Yeah, this is really dire. And I think she's letting the cannon, I think she cancelled the cannon. She let it finish. She let the cannon finish. Okay, no, she didn't. Okay, so yeah, I would say overall she's probably about not hugely behind Tosco, but honestly, this is like the best possible game state that Tosco probably could have wished for in a realistic sense. So I honestly feel like this has just put Tosco's win percentage almost as close to 100. That's actually realistically viable in the game like Starcraft.
Yeah, I probably agree with you there. Well, let's give Anna a chance. At least she's going to get rid of this SCV here, and then we'll see what kind of tech she wants to pull out. Does she want to go for a really quick third, or is she going to go into some DT tech, some Templar tech, maybe a Reaver play? I feel like Toss Girl is very good at defending against those Reavers, but Reavers always give you that kind of, that, like you were saying, the puncher's chance, right? Maybe she gets a big Scarab that can even things out and maybe even give her a lead.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like, even though you do have these high win percentages based on your current position on paper, it doesn't mean you're going to get that, because obviously everything comes down to execution at the end of the day. So one lucky Scarab hit or some kind of vulture drop or anything could happen in a game of StarCraft. So there's no real like 100% win rate usually, unless there's like no workers left on the map kind of thing, or like with the one player is just so good that they'll never be able to like be overcame the odds. So yeah, usually you don't have those kinds of insane win percentages, but Tosco again though can't be understated just how good a position she's in right now. It doesn't look like look like much, but yeah, there's no way she could hope for a better spot right now, about like basically being in a game-ending situation. She could be doing a 3-tank push here, and I don't even feel like Anna will be in position to get these goons out safely. She might try and flank these forces. Okay, she does move out just in time to not lose these forces, and we'll be able to get on top of these Marines as they come up the ramp here. So actually really good play from Anna. For a second there I was a little bit worried that Tosco was going to get up there for free and have some chance at pressuring there. I think Anna also could have done a better job of trying to bait up the Terran player a little bit more there and maybe do a little bit more damage to them as well.
Yeah, getting a tank or two killed off here would have been amazing. She's going to dive forward and try to get some damage on one of these tanks, but it's not going to work out well. She does get the Vulture for free there, though. And SCVs had to be pulled towards the main in order to block the ramp, just in case Anna really committed. But she's not. She's just backed off, and she's going to go ahead and grab a third base. So she's, doing a reasonable job here. Toss Girl hasn't lost any tanks, though, and that count is going to continue to build. I want to talk just quickly about Protoss and Terran and the win rates between the two, because I get this conversation, I get this comment so often where people are saying, Protoss is OP, Protoss is not OP, Protoss is the weakest race, that type of thing, from different people. And basically what I'm going to say is you're all kind of delusional. Protoss and Terran are very, very evenly matched, but what we were talking about earlier, like how there's a puncher's chance in any game of StarCraft, where like a random Scarab can get a big amount of damage. It can deal a ton, or one great storm can pick off a whole bunch of units or a whole bunch of SCVs and kind of switch the math. I feel like truly Protoss has more options in that regard, if you know what I'm saying. Like they have more ability to, or they have more abilities that can bring them back in games where they're kind of down and out. Yeah, that can swing the tempo of the game, exactly. So there's only a few things really that Terran can do that are potential big swing tactics that can actually bring them back into a game like this, but there's just more that Protoss can do to try and even things back out when they find themselves at a disadvantage. And I feel like that's what is the misperception there, is that they're both very evenly matched, but there are like more swingy abilities for the Protoss.
Right, and you could also make the argument that Protoss has the most versatile of tech choices as well. So even if you're in a weird spot, you can sometimes navigate yourself into an advantageous position just by the weird tech path that you take or something. And whereas the other player, maybe especially if it's a Terran, has to be much more rigid in the choices they have access to and what they can choose to build when.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not to say that they're not strong. Of course, Terran very, very strong in this matchup and in all matchups, but they are more rigid. There's less comeback mechanics for them, so you really have to be incredibly regimented in your play. Make sure that you do everything kind of perfectly. Otherwise, if you fall behind, your win chance percentage and your possibilities of comeback are very limited.
We see DT frustrating Tosco a little bit here, but that's going to be scanned up and cleaned up here. Just like in this game. Finally, Tosca going to be making her way downtown into the center of the map, kind of cutting off the forces actually of Ana, not going to be allowing them to come down to rejoin with the rally point. So can also swing around to this this bridge location close to the natural expansion. With the scout just slowly chewing away at this arm is kind of interesting, but it's going to take a long time before these scout does any significant damage to these tanks. Only 7 damage a shot with the natural armor. Does clear up pretty much all of these forces of Ana in quick succession, and we can just see just how dominant Tosco is in this matchup. TP, very exceptionally talented player, also very skilled in this particular matchup, as we were just talking about earlier, and just making it very difficult for Ana to have any kind of chance at coming back here. Once she gets a small lead, she seems so methodical at just grinding out the game and really frustrating the efforts of Ana and like throwing as many wrenches into the cogs as she can, and eventually she just crushes the position.
Yeah, you can see Ana kind of panicking there as Toss Girl started to move out maybe a little bit sooner than what Ana was expecting, and she ends up, getting a pretty big bank there as the push was coming, going up to like what 1,500 minerals, something like that, and Toss Girl with the superior army, with the amazing movement here of her vultures and tanks, just crushing through everything. Very methodical play here from Toss Girl. Like she's done it a million times. She's gonna take down Ana here. Without question. There's some turrets going up, but that scout is still reigning free over the third base, but just kind of tickling these Terran units here without really being effective at all. Ana trying to take a base in the top left, but it's not going to happen. Ana taps out, and Toss Girl takes a victory, tying up this series 2-2. Here we go, Light versus Queen for match number 5. You couldn't ask for more. Here we've got cross map on Tempest. It's going to be a great game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Saying before we get into this, can I start? Do you know what the ground attack for the scout is called? I know the missiles. I think the antimatter missiles. What is the ground attack for the scout unit called? It's like particle cannon. It's probably the most obscure names of an ability in the game. I do not know.
I couldn't tell you. It's basically a tickle attack though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like it looks like he's just poking with like 6 different little beams. It's like a hyper advanced tickle attack. But
yeah, not the most effective attack in the game, I don't think.
No, I don't think Scout was the right call there for Ana in that situation. Making more units would have been the better choice. Definitely had a lot of minerals in the bank. Kind of an inopportune time.
Yeah, the idea of the scout is basically to frustrate Terran trench lines where the position isn't moving much. But when the Terran is in full mobilization mode like that, where they're just steamrolling ahead, the scout's not really going to do much. Like, it's not going to have enough DPS to really do anything significant. Like, it'd be good to like force the Terran back if they were like more static in the center of the map and not pushing as hard. But yeah, with that kind of aggression, there's no way the scout's going to really provide that much value. And we see a very fast hatchery here from Queen. Nothing crazy, but I expected him to play a little bit more macro oriented on this map. Do you feel like we're going to see anything cheesy from either of these players, or do you feel like we're going to see a long game here?
I wonder. This is kind of a crazy map. Right, we've got the high ground over your natural. Can be abused by drop play. This map has also been popular for Wraith play as well, but it doesn't seem like that's the direction that Light wants to take this. I guess we're going to see more of a standard game here, but you can't rule it out just yet. Something crazy coming out of either player.
Yeah, we see 2 shots from that drone onto that Marine, reducing it to 30 hit points, making it a little bit easier to kill later on in case there's some follow-up play of the trying to pressure at the front, the Zerg player, or the Zerg doing some kind of a counterplay of the Lings. So always nice to squeeze in as much damage as you can onto those units which won't be healed up for quite some time until the medics do finally pop out. Trying to optimize as much as possible in these situations is very important at the highest of levels. Don't think you see anything too crazy from either player right now, but seems like a slightly fast gas from Light going to be wanting to play as standard as possible, get his tech timings nice and crisp against the likes of Queen. He knows that Queen's a very, very, very talented player, so he's going to want to make sure he doesn't make a single mistake. And look at this moving shot from the drone as well, going to be blocking this SUV from coming into the main base to scout the timings of his tech as well. So he doesn't know exactly what's going on now. Could be Ling speed. In fact, Light is extremely brave to be moving out with these Marines right now.
Queen really turning it on this game. You can see he is serious about taking a win here for his squad. Just chasing down that SUV, dealing a ton of damage to that. That's pretty darn good here. Getting that early damage onto the scouting SUV means the Lings are going to be able to clean it up so much quicker, because it's just not going to be healed. I think even Light going to send that one SUV home and maybe send out a fresh one, just because that other one was going to die so fast. And here Queen's already picked up on that. He's already seen it. He's going to come out here with some more Lings and actually deal with this. Light has pushed forward a little bit, but he's been spotted. That Ling's going to go down. There's only 5 Marines here though, and the push distance is so far that Queen's not worried about him actually coming across the map and trying to do some early damage. It's just not really feasible for Light to make a move like that.
It seems like Light was trying to telegraph that's what he wanted to do. He was trying to telegraph that he was thinking like a madman and was thinking about pushing, but it seems like he was just trying to either catch an overlord or just threaten the counterattack and actually go for it. He knows the timings of the Lings and didn't really push out too far to the map and ran back from that threshold of no return over and over again, kind of keeping himself as safe as possible while also affording him the most highest pressure possible to keep Queen as trying to make as many defenses to be worried about that. But yeah, Queen kind of called the bluff on that, like you say, and now putting himself into a good position, going to be coming in there with some speedlings to check the timings. Sees a second medic pop out, so he knows exactly the timings of the Terran player here, more or less, and going to be quite comfortable with that and throwing down the third hatchery at the natural expansion. But in the bottom right of the quadrant of the map will also eventually afford him a free 4th gas.
Yeah, that third base here on Tempest, taking the high ground location is the optimal play, I feel. You can take the low ground, the very bottom right, and put lurkers at that location, but just putting one sunken colony here and a few lurkers is incredibly tough to to break. And yeah, giving you that access to the free 4th base is huge. Means that you can just statically defend there at that third and get that 4th gas online practically for free, and get into your late game tech as soon as possible. Queen gonna get scouted here in the bottom right. It's been spotted out, but drones being transferred over here as Mutas hit the map. Let's see how Light handles this pressure play. He's gone for, was this 4 racks, 3 racks? Looks like 4 racks to me. So he's gonna have a huge amount of bio on the field. But assuming that Queen can hold this back a little bit and get his lurkers out, this should play right into his hands.
Yeah, he's looking pretty good right now. Queen is actually like even on supply with Light, so it's actually really indicative of being quite in a good position. And coming into the natural expansion, snipes the gas SEV as well. Wow, Queen really disrupting Light and reducing that gas income even just slightly is going to be a huge deal for Light going forward. He needs every drop of gas coming out of the tank right now.
I really feel like Queen is on one today. He is playing out of his mind here, really optimizing every single unit, making sure that he is dealing the most damage possible, gets in there with the 3 Lings, kills the SCV, and then gets out as well. So keeping those Lings alive for a counterattack later on as well. Coming in now, trying to reduce this Marine number because he's only got 1 sunken colony on the high ground. Doesn't get the shot off there, and he's going to go on to these reinforcements, but there's a little bit too much here for Light. He can't actually take this fight. Okay, he's going to dive on top of these Marines, but at the same time, Light just going to go for the natural here. Okay, he does back away from that. The high ground sunken colony, a little bit scary right now with the Lings as well. Diving on top of this, though, hitting from both sides. Ling's going to jump on the Marines, and the Mutas will clean everything up. Beautiful surround here by Queen.
Really cost efficient by Queen. Light was attempting to do some good turnaround shots on the muters there, but Queen was a little bit patient about it, very well composed, and lined up the pincer maneuver pretty much perfectly, and couldn't have hoped for a more cost-efficient trade. Now racing ahead in supply, 65 to 57. We see Light finally transitioning into his science facility and getting his tech online, but he's lost so many forces for more or less not the most cost-efficient trades that he's now going to be in a bit of a deficit, fighting an uphill battle, both in the how much army he's got, but also the economic curve of the game. He's actually a little bit behind right now, and Queen's gonna be able to take this fourth base for free, or just put the pressure on and try and slow down Light as much as possible. Now coming in to his natural expansion and sniping 2 of these gas SCVs and also killing this gas potentially, Light's going to put on some counterplay to threaten the third base. There's already lurkers on the way, and with this gas being taken out, he's now only getting 300 gas a minute, so he's not going to be able to make 2 science vessels at the same time for very long. So he's not going to be able to get upgrades and science vessels or anything else that he needs. So right now, Light in a little bit of a situation that he needs to navigate out of quickly, and he's trying to do that in the way of a lot of aggression, but he's not going to come in here quick enough, and the forces here are just too much for him to overcome.
Yeah, those lurkers are going to pop out here in just a moment, and he threw down some emergency buildings, did Queen, but not going to need them, not necessary here to hold on to the bottom right, and continuing to track down these Marines. Unfortunately, going to lose some overlords here in the center of the map. That's a bit of a heavy loss there for Queen. However, still a good position right now, even on supply. He should be taking the 4th base soon, and his hive is on the way now.
Almost catching the mutalisk there is Light, but Queen on top of everything, going to be able to pull those away. Irradiate is going to be available to Light now, 75 energy on that vessel. Needs to be careful with these muters and split them the second that does go down. If you're really good with your vessel usage, you can basically target the mutalisk that's at the bottom of the stack by clicking on the far edge of the pack, but it takes a lot of skill to do that consistently. But someone like Light can do that, and makes it much harder for the Zerg player to get that mutalisk out of the stack themselves. So you do ideally want to just go for any kind of irradiate on the pack of muters, but if you're good enough, you want to go for one of the muters that's hidden inside the pack to make it as hard as possible for the Zerg player. It's going to be forcing a cancel on this command center and come back into natural expansion, try and catch some of these vessels that aren't defended right now and only have not enough energy to oh, he's going to get both of these vessels, saying that's an absolute huge pick off for Queen. We had like 60 energy. Now here comes the bust from Light with defensive Marine coming into the natural expansion of Queen, desperately trying to drone drill is Queen. There's 4 lurkers underneath this overlord, but they're all getting target fired down. There's nothing remaining for Queen in this position, saying.
What a bust here from Light. Absolutely unbelievable. So many lurkers there on the high ground with the sunken colony as well. It was a great play by Queen to pick off the science vessels, but he's lost so much here in the natural. Now he does get the last science vessel. He's gonna lose his natural though, and that is basically the end here for Queen. How can he come back from this spot?
What is this game we are witnessing, saying? What is this comeback? Like, Light is crazy right now. It's like, for a moment, it was like Queen had stolen the batteries out of Light's torch, and Light just like got angry and like grabbed the torch and just started beating Queen over the head with it. And what is going on in this game?
Oh man, this is a great one here. Light has stolen the thunder here of Queen, and there's really nothing that Queen can do but just defend, do his best to get this natural back online and keep his upgrades rolling, eventually get into, I guess, Defiler and a Lurker to hold on against all of the aggression that's going to be coming out of Light. Now he's got full map control. He's going to be able to sit here and just irradiate over and over and over again, and it's going to be up to Queen to get that 4th gas online without dying to drops or just pure, you know, overall aggression here from Light. Good job pulling the drones through the Nidus Canal. Gonna keep most of them alive. Not able to get the kill on these science vessels, unfortunately. The 2 Scourge not able to both connect there. Here comes some more Scourge. Oh, he really needs to get one of those science vessels. Oh my god. Not able to pick that off. Some lurkers here under the Overlord. Looks like they will ward away the Marines for now, but that was a scary moment there with that eraser trick coming in.
Yeah, very scary indeed. And Queen doing a good job of slowing down this gas being taken for Light, but it's not really a significant deal at this stage of the game. Any damage is good damage to the economy of Light right now, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about this game. And right now, we do have Defile Tech online for Queen, which is great, but Light's double expanding. He's got the top left as a ninja while also taking this natural third. He's also going to be pretty comfortable to not worry about the timing of this fourth gas from Queen. And it's going to be a little bit from that to come online. So Light's going to have a big window of a few minutes here to put on some pressure, do some drop play, start to lay siege to one of these expansions or both of these expansions if he feels like he's got a sizable enough force here. So yeah, right now Light's looking in a great spot. He's going to be transferring some SCVs in. So oh, he loses the dropship in the bottom right quadrant though. So now Light not going to be able to do too much damage in the bottom right here, but the two Marines do make it out though, and he does catch the drone down here, so still going to be slowing down the timing of this and sees that there's no fourth base on the way yet, so he's going to be very comfortable with his position.
Yeah, taking the base in the top left-hand corner is great. This has not been scouted, I think, by Queen just yet. Some bunkers going up over there. Light is just going to get into an incredible macro position where he can start to flood the map with battle cruisers, science vessels, and of course, huge number of medic marine. Whether he'll want to do a transition into tanks or not a little bit later on, that remains to be seen, but he's going to have 4 gas operational, and that can afford you a lot of tech units here, Starin.
Yeah, it's 1,200 gas a minute for him to spend, so that's a lot. Eventually those will start to become depleted and he'll be mining less and less, but he will still be having a very sizable amount of gas to work with. And yeah, he's going to be making battle cruisers, seems to be like the tech of choice here, and I can't fault him for that. Going up to 3 port battle cruisers probably the way to go here, and just using the battle cruisers to shut down the gas mining bases and also add a lot of meat to your army. It's just so effective for Terran to do in these situations once they've finally got these fortified extra expansions and extra gas online. It will be necessary as well because Queen will get this 4th gas himself and will have a lot of potential to build a lot of Ultraling out on the map and do a lot himself. But right now the driver's seat is in Light's favor, going to be coming into the natural main base here with some irradiates on these muters. Not the most cost-efficient radiates actually because of the situation, but he's got basically any tool in his arsenal can be used efficiently here, because as long as he does any damage with these irradiates, he's going to be in a good spot. So usually you wouldn't want to be wasting these irradiates on those muters, but because he's so far ahead, he knows any trade's a good trade, and he's got so much energy to work with on those vessels because they've not been reduced for so long. So now he can just keep coming in here and frustrating Queen by throwing cycles of irradiates every minute or so.
Yeah, spot on there, Shun, for sure. He's just throwing down any possible irradiates, even a irradiate on an Overlord, it's going to be fine. Definitely not the case in a normal game, but right now, where with Queen being in the position that he's in, every time he loses a unit, it's going to be a hardship for him. He really can't afford to replace anything, and now there's going to be battle cruisers coming out. Before he's even got his 4th gas online, he's going to have to start producing mass amounts of Scourge just to deal with that. Sunken or spore colonies are going to have to come down as well, and this is just a nightmare for Queen. He's got so many things to worry about right now, and he's got no real easy way back into this game. There's no play that he could do right now that's just going to give him a massive advantage or kind of flip the script on Light. And here comes more irradiates. Oh, these are some high quality irradiates here in the main base.
Yeah, that was a money shot right there. I don't feel like Queen's going to be able to have any chance at winning the game now. Like, there's just too much to handle. He needs 6 Scourge per battle cruiser to deal with these. I think he's got Carapace upgrade on his Scourge, so he won't be losing them to one shot to the BCs, which is good, but he just can't afford it. He can't afford the lava even. Not even just the Scourge and the gas cost of those Scourge, but even just the lava to make those Scourge is too painful for him right now. So there's nothing really that he can do to answer this cost efficiently. He's going to be trying to make a few Scourge here, a few Scourge there, and trying to deal with these battles cruisers one at a time, but it's still going to be really tough for him. He has got a lot of hatcheries online, so he can make a lot of cracklings, but he's really behind the curve of the game. He's only got 1-1 upgrades to 2-2, and now 3-3 going to be finishing up for the Terran player, so he's still going to be really far behind the curve of the game. I feel like as long as the timings of... Oh, he does catch the battle cruiser, and he's doing a pretty good job so far of catching these battle cruisers with the Scourge, but like I say, he's wasting so much lava and so much gas to do this, so it's still kind of Light favored for the time being. Light is in a situation where eventually he needs to win the game because Queen will have a higher win percentage if the game goes on for another 20 minutes, but for the time being, it's going to be very Light favored.
Yeah, Light is just in a fantastic position. Oh, what a plague there. Really, really good move by Queen to get that plague off. Of course, he does need to still capitalize on that and utilize what he's got going for him here. He's got to get like a Mutalisk or something to actually pick those off. But that's a step in the right direction here for Queen. Ultras are out on the field, but they're just going to get heavily irradiated here. Running right into the middle of this Marine meta group is a great way to spread the damage around, but he's not even got his third Carapace upgrade done yet, and +3 is already ready for Light. Here comes that Defiler, going to throw down a Dark Storm here. Just barely in time, but it's outside of the range of Light space, and look at how many fire bats Light is making. He's making like one fire bat for every Marine that he pops out here, just because he knows that Lings are really going to be the only answer right now for Queen. He's just so low on that gas, and he's going to be slowed down even further here now by these battlecruisers coming into the 4th base.
Yeah, he understands fully that the real cost-efficient unit for Queen right now is the Zergling, and he knows that he needs to make sure he always has something to deal with those under Dark Swarm, so he's very wisely making rounds of bats with these Marines, and he does need those. And here comes Queen, though, waiting for the Marines to come out of positions and try and get into the base with these Ultra Ling, but it's just not a sizable force to soak up the bunkers, because if there was just one bunker, maybe, but Light's really doubling down on these bases. Like, he's making like 2-3 bunkers in these expansions and throwing bats and Marines into them. He's not skimping on anything. He's making sure all his eyes are dotted and all his T's are crossed. He's playing exceptionally well. I don't know how Queen can win from this position. If he can somehow get a 5th gas online, maybe there's a little bit of life in it for him, but right now I don't see that happening.
Well, I think we just missed that 2 battlecruisers in the bottom right got picked off by just 2 Hydras, so he's doing everything he can to get super efficient here fighting these battlecruisers. But yeah, like you said, I don't know if it's going to be enough. Hydra's coming out, going to try to fight here from under Dark Swarm, and that's really the ultimate counter to the battlecruiser. Ooh, he gets the kill there on that that Defiler. Some Scourge going to come through and maybe pick this off, but no. Survives with 1 HP. How did that happen?
I don't know how, but he managed to like somehow target only the Scourge and like one-shot all the Scourge instantly, and he didn't lose a single battlecruiser there. I don't know how he did that, but that was amazing. And now he's targeting down drones in the main base. He's going to snipe more of these Scourge as they finish building. They're not even rallied onto the BC, so they're going to die for free. Now the Queen going to try and come to the position and break open these bunkers. I think he's going to crack a few of these eggs at least before the repair can come down on this top bunker. So he's going to be starting to weaken these positions, but it seems like Light's still stabilizing. I don't feel like Queen's really getting anything done, and so far it seems like such a Light favored game, and these Ultras are going to be dying here as well, and there's more Zerg barbecue for Light to eat up. I'm sure Mong wants to come in on that action as well. Could be using more of these bioforces in the center, but not really enough critical mass of Zerglings to overrun these Terran positions. GG, finally called from Queen, saying.
Ooh, that was a rough game from Queen. I mean, he had a great position there. He was playing out of his mind. But Light, with that one opportunity, the D-Matrix bust there at the natural was so clutch. As all that damage was coming in with the mutas, you know, he's harassing. He had the defenses ready. He thought that he was fine, but Light proves that it's not true. He gets in there with those Marines, breaks that natural, and it was really all downhill from there for Queen. He was still playing fantastically, really, truly holding on against Light, but Light just godlike with his macro, going up to 5-6 bases and rolling through, making it impossible for the Zerg to come back. And wow, I hope we get to see that game again. I hope we get to see a repeat of that. It's going to be coming up soon. If we hit that roulette wheel, that's going to be amazing. But we've still got one more game, Mind versus YSC, just coming up next. All right, Mind versus YSC now. Set number 6 here with Light's team in the lead. Man, Light has just been so powerful in this tournament. What is he at now? 7-1? Something like that? No, 9-1.
Light is 9-1 now.
Yeah. Damn.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's
crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, that's a pretty high win percentage, guys. in a game like Starcraft, it's usually unheard of to have those kinds of percentages, but it's a small enough data size that it's still somewhat not like, you know, unheard of, but it's still pretty nuts. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, 90% win rate in Team KCM. That's impressive to say the least. Mind now coming out here. Can he kind of replicate some of that success? He's gonna be going up against YSC, who I'm not really sure where he's at in this matchup, but I'm sure that he's gonna have something good planned here to take down Mind. He's got some good coaching on his team. Actually, he's the only Protoss on his squad. Is that right? I think Queen only picked YSC, his only Protoss, right?
I think you're right, yeah. Which is an interesting choice as well. I'm curious what the thought process was picking YSC. Maybe he has some insider knowledge on the guy.
Yeah, maybe he's like personal friends with him or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, Queen, I mean, only one Protoss player that he picked is YSC. Same actually with Light, right? Light only picked Ruin, but I think I understand the Ruin pick quite a bit more. I think Ruin's been really showing up lately. YSC, he's got some victories under his belt, but he's nowhere near what Ruin's been performing at lately.
Yeah, Ruin's pretty exceptionally talented as well of a player. Like, I really like seeing him play. And a little bit really weird thing that just happened there. The Marines moved in position to ward away the probe and maybe even kill it with a pincer on it, but mine kind of moved at max range and then didn't try and get a shot off on the probe. A little bit interesting way that transpired. I feel like he could have maybe got some damage on that probe, maybe even killed it if he'd been a bit quicker with how he reacted there.
Sometimes Marines move in such a mysterious way. It's kind of funny, the decision to shoot, like when they actually decide to fire can be it can vary widely. And sometimes you'll click on right click on a zealot and the zealot actually reaches the Marine before the Marine even decides to fire a shot. It can happen from time to time, but you don't expect that kind of thing out of Mind. He should know his units backwards and forwards, inside and out, and be able to optimize the damage. And yeah, getting the probe away there, YSC is going to be feeling pretty good. He's also going to stop this vulture from getting into his base. He has the information that he needs to make the right decisions in this game. And Mind, he's in not too bad of a spot himself. He's just getting into a very normal, casual game here. Ooh, catching this vulture. Maybe he can get the kill on that. 5 HP. He should be able to track this down. There's nowhere to run here.
Yeah, it's so good to get this vulture. Not being able to lay these first few mines are so painful for Mind to have to lose that. The first 3 mines are the most valuable thing in the game for him, pretty much, and he's only just now got his mines finishing research. So there's going to be 3 less mines out on the map, getting him the critical information that he wants. And this is the vulture that's going to be laying the trap mines to protect him from any kind of counterattacks or DT timing or something. So not having these other spotter mines out on the map that he wants, like checking for the 3rd timing and stuff, like it's going to be a little bit painful for him having to swallow that.
Yeah, he will keep 1 mine in this vulture and probably going to send that around over to the top left to get 1 spotter mine at least, I would imagine. Although he is sending it over here, making sure that there's no sort of proxy coming from YSC. That has been popular. We saw Snow do that. I think that was against Light, where he proxied a Reaver on this map and did a huge amount of damage with that. So Mind just kind of making sure that none of those shenanigans are occurring here. He's going to push out on the map. This is an interesting direction which he's pushing. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about this. I think he wants to come all the way around to the center and then punish the 3rd timing if it was maybe going for that. But I don't think he's going to be able to have a chance at doing that. I feel like maybe he's just giving himself the opportunity to counterattack if he scouts something. Like maybe he scouts like there's not that many Dragoons out on the map and it's like a one gate greed play or something. Maybe he then sets himself up for a good push here. But I think once he realizes the 2 gateways worth of units, I don't feel like he's going to get a lot done.
He's hiding everything. Look at this. He's hiding his vultures down at the bottom left. He's hiding his main army in the center of the map, and YSC's gone completely blind. He's actually got Dragoons in the main base because he thinks there's a drop coming, but this is going to be a crazy position that's going to be set up here from Mind. He's going to come right into the 3rd base, set up mines everywhere, get these tanks sieged up, and it'll be up to YSC to try to break this, and he's going to lose some Dragoons here as well. Yeah, nowhere to go with this Dragoon, so he will pick that off. Mines are set up, and this 3rd base is under threat. He'd probably have to cancel this.
Beautiful body blocking with those vultures as well. Yeah, he's gonna have to cancel that by the looks of it. And yeah, I'm really impressed by Mind here. He really metagamed YSC, made it look like he was going for some kind of vulture drop play and really delayed his push timing to the last possible second when he was weakest and then coming in. But now these forces are a little bit exposed, though. Finally does siege up, is killing some of these probes and natural expansion. Meanwhile, though, so still pretty good trade for Mind going forward. Finally gets on top of these tanks with these Dragoons, gets the side disruptor shots on these tanks, finally clearing those up. But meanwhile, though, losing so many probes to this vulture, now with 8, laying down a couple of mines and going back to the probe line, going to get another 2 or so kills. Pretty good play from Mind, crushing the position of YSC, killing delaying the 3rd base, and also getting that many probe kills is going to be a real tough uphill battle for YSC going forward.
And it looks like YSC is just about dead in the water here. Mind, smelling blood, is going to drop a bunch of factories back at home. He wants to end this game as soon as possible with a follow-up push here. Going to keep vultures on the map just to make sure that there's no real possibility of a comeback here. One thing that Protoss players will do when they get into this bad of a position is occasionally take, double expansion here. Just try to get more probes out on the map. Just try to, make that comeback play. But while simultaneously dropping and dealing that harassment. But gonna make sure that doesn't happen. Has a mine over there at the 4th base. He's got defenses here in the main. Looks like he will eat one tank or one scarab there, but doesn't get the 2nd scarab on the tank. Okay, does get this the tank with the Dragoon shot, but this has already been slowed down so much. This is not going to get that much damage for YSC, and even a Goliath coming out here going to push this back. So YSC really grasping at straws here, while meanwhile Mind is just going to power up really, really hard. And with this 5 factory follow-up, it might be the death of YSC here.
Yeah, YSC's going to try and stabilize his position and go into somewhat of a serviceable mid-game situation, but Light's not going to allow that to transpire. He's going to just build up a ton of units. Sorry, Mind is going to team.
He's playing like Light. He's playing like Light.
Yeah, he's playing like Light, and he's playing on Team Light, but he's Mind. Okay, Mind is going to be setting up for a very strong push, and with these amount of Goliaths that he's got, he can also shut down pretty much all of these observers that YSC's got as well, so that he won't see the timing of the push come out, the timing of the 3rd, and there's no real information that YSC can use to leverage his health into a better position, and that's going to really hurt him because he's already so far behind in this game that he doesn't have any information advantage either. It's just going to be so tough for him making the decisions that he needs to come back into this game.
Well, I might have read this wrong, actually. Mind is going to get a starport now, and he may be just gunning for a 3rd base here. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and get into upgrade mech and slowly push forward. What is the 6th factory coming out? So he's got quite a bit to move with. 2 Reavers here are going to take a couple of shots, and they get shoved back. The shuttle getting a bit of hull damage on it, but pretty good defensive maneuvers here from YSC so far. A base going to come up for Mind, and yeah, he is going to plan to expand here. Let's see what YSC can do about it.
Well, the reason why he's not attacking is only because YSC is not taking a fourth base. Like it's 11 minutes into the game and there's no fourth base for the Protoss players. There's no real pressure on Mind to attack, so he's very slowly pushing his way across the southern threshold of the map, making sure that great pickup of that shuttle as well. And now getting on top of the rally point, he's just waiting for the perfect moment to come here and shut down this rally point by being as methodical as possible. And now he has a positional advantage to this false high ground with these tanks sieging up here. It's a real tough position for YSC to come in and fight. He's going to try anyway. Slow Zealots from the left-hand side, trying to get on top of these vultures, and the Dragoons just can't get any good surface area to get onto these tanks. Finally starting to attack the tanks onto the high ground, but there's no way he's going to break through that position. Finally turn the turner in retreat, the tail tucked between his legs. There's all blue blood staining the battlefield right now as Mind pushes his way all further and further to the threshold of this rally point of YSC, desperately trying to make some speed Zealots to try and bust out its position, but there's not enough forces going to be able to come out from these rally points. Only like 7 or so gateways, so not really going to be enough of forces to deal with Mind's attack right now, and Mind's just going to set up a really strong siege and just break open this position.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. Really, YSC needed to buy more time with his Reaver attack. He needed to slow this push down a little bit more. You could see that the Zealot speed finished up right after that battle was finished. So not having that tech online means he wasn't able to really jump on top of everything, drag mines forward and that type of thing. And now he's just dead in the water here, completely, just meat here for the shark that is Mind to grind up in his teeth. Nothing left for him to do but tap out. There's even a supply depot being built here at the front. He's got a turret for these DTs. There's a kind of Hail Mary play here from YSC building DTs right now, but it's not going to work out for him. So many tanks here just annihilating everything. The Dragoons are going to come forward, but nothing to be done. GG. YSC taps out. Mind takes another game for Team Light. Okay, heading over to the wheel now. I'm a little bit surprised to see that Team Queen has chosen to ban that Zealot versus Rune matchup. And on the side of Team Light, no surprise there that Anna's going to get banned versus Toss Girl.
I'm actually not too surprised by Queen. Even though Zealot's my boy, I actually feel like Rune really had him dialed in that matchup. So I kind of get why they would ban Zealot here. It's unfortunate because I really would like to see a rematch between these two players, but I do kind of get it.
I don't know. I feel like maybe Mind had YSC's number a little bit more so, but
a little bit more.
There are arguments to be made in the other direction. Let's go to the wheel now to see how the spin lands and which matchup is going to be replayed here. Killer versus Barracks again. Let's go. Or Light versus Queen.
Either one of those. Either one of those. Give us a TBZ.
Set 2, set 5.
That's up to 7, lucky 7. 5 plus 2 is 7. Let's get lucky.
Here we go. Come on, baby. Set number 1.
Aww. So close. Go on the line.
So close.
2 pixels.
Oh, come on. All right. Well, ZVZ again. Should be a quick one anyway. Kahiri versus JB for this next match. All right. Not what we were hoping for, but here it is. Kahiri versus JB, man. It would suck if Kahiri won this game. I'm just going to be real with you guys. I do not want to see Team Light win like this.
It would be suboptimal, saying I would say, to the narrative of the games today and the overall match. Yeah, I would hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. Please, please, please. But the worst case scenario for us is this, because not only is it the potential of Kahiri winning the game here, but it's a ZVZ, so it's like, you know, it's a knife fight in a phone booth with 2 monkeys, and and there's only one knife between them, and they're both scrambling to try and grab the knife off each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the apt metaphor for this matchup, but it's been changing as of late. It's been evolving here, so we'll have to hold off judgment to see which direction these players want to go with. Now, Kahiri did end up taking that last match, right? And I feel like that was mostly due to the build order that she chose. She went for that 9 hatch. Did she go for 9 hatch again here, or what kind of build are we looking at? 9 hatch,
9
eh?
hatch. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I think so.
Once again with the 9 hatch, what kind of adjustments can JB make to give her a better shot in this game?
Hatch in the main. I like it. Okay, this is actually good.
So hatch in the main, and did she? I think she went for overpool, right? Overpool hatch in the main, something like that.
No, that's 12 hatch in the main, I think.
12 hatch in the main. Okay. All right. Well, 12 hatch does have a little bit of an advantage over 9 hatch in terms of the economy, but you're gonna have way more larva. So expect to see JB with just a few more drones, but with less early lings, and usually that's actually advantage to the player who has the less lings, who has the more economy, because you're gonna have this rush distance, and JB's gonna have defender's advantage here. So as long as she plays her cards right in this situation, she should be able to get a good advantage here in this early game.
Yeah, and everything should be lining up nicely for JB with this defender's advantage. And this very tight choke on Sylphid does allow you to set up a real tight, nice 2-on-1 Ling conga line. But not quite going for that is JB. She's pretty not confident with setting up these tight lines of Lings, it seems. And that might come to cost her if she doesn't set it up in time against Gahiri. And if Gahiri can bait out the Lings of JB just barely enough, maybe that she can still get a good flood timing here on JB. But right now, as long as JB doesn't make any missteps, it's going to be good for her. But look at this, great pickups from Gahiri, getting good 3-on-1 surface area on those Lings at the front. Purely because of what I've been talking about, Gahiri didn't take the time to set up these tight Ling lines by pushing the Lings as tightly together in a big long line as possible. And look at these 2-on-1 trades that Gahiri's doing. Really great control, taking a Ling advantage over time while making more Lings back at home. So eventually we'll have an advantage in Ling count, but there is still this really tight choke to break through. So still advantage to JB.
Yeah, this is a little bit rough watching the overall micro here of JB. She should spread out. If she's not going to make that tight Ling line, you should just spread out a little bit, you know, to the bottom and top, and as the Lings of your opponent come in, you just try to get the better concave, right? You risk having the Lings start to run by, but it's better than just sitting here at the natural. This is pretty decent here. The fight for JB is definitely a lot better. Trying to run through here as the Lings start to push forward. There's going to be more and more surface area for JB to work with, but she's going to back away from the entrance here. And now Kahiri is going to get in with her full force, and she's got plenty more Lings coming as well. This Zerg, the creep colony here is a little bit interesting. There's not any Lings in production right now. What is JB doing? Why don't we have any Lings in production here? There's so many larvae just sitting and waiting right now. I am shocked.
Yeah, she wanted to make more muters, I think, but that's the wrong way of thinking. She needs to make a couple more extra Lings first. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm a little bit shocked as well. She's really tight on money. I don't think she optimized there enough, and I think the Lings also should have held just for a few more seconds longer. It's going to be coming in now with a few drone snipes of these Lings now, forcing the drill to the gas, taking 3 drones so far. Finally, some Lings hatching out of these larvae going to help defend this sunken colony against these Zerglings that are desperately trying to get as much damage as possible. Down to just 4 drones is JB right now, so not looking too good, but muters are on the way. And Gahiri does have spores to respond to that on the way as well. So right now this is looking pretty good for Gahiri overall, although there is still more drones than before in that last game scenario we saw.
Yeah, that's not saying much, but you're right. There are more drones here than last time. There's 4 drones in the mineral line. This really could have been handled so much better by JB by just producing extra Lings in that bad situation. She didn't have money for more mutas. You know, she's had like 6 larvae there. She had maybe like 200-300 gas. So I don't really understand what she was thinking. In the end, pays the iron price there, loses so many drones, and she's going to be fighting from a deep deficit here. Although she does have more supply, most of that is in Mutilus. And her drone count is just starting to get back online here while Kahiri like really builds up her defenses.
Yeah, I mean the only like way I could defend her is by saying maybe she thought that she wouldn't mine enough minerals to make the muters, so, and she was worried about having to drill the drones constantly and not be able to mine the additional minerals to make the muters that she needs.
Mm,
But it's still a bit of a long shot. I still feel like she should have maybe made at least 2 pairlings there.
yeah, for sure. And another thing you can use, another trick you can use is when you've got the drones. If you have a location like this where you can see the mineral patches, you can drill to the gas and then drill to the mineral patches across the map, and then back to the minerals and then back to the gas again, and you kind of go like in a circle around your hatchery rather than through the lings, and allow them to, you know, take a lot more damage, the ring around the rosy, so to speak, for the drones running from the lings, and it can help you to save, you know, just 2 or 3 more drones can actually make a huge difference.
Oh, and this matchup absolutely saying even just 1 drone can make all the difference, and you might be seeing it come down to that kind of edge in this game where, you know, maybe JB just barely had enough drones there that she could make a comeback, but I don't know, it's still gonna be really tough. I mean, Kahiri's got a lot of production right now, and I feel like with the Hydra switch should be able to leverage this into a victory. But who knows? Anything can happen. It's a game of Starcraft. Everyone has that sort of punches chance element, so to speak. I really don't feel like JB has an easy time of it here, though, but definitely an easier time of it than we saw in that last game with the only like 2 drones left alive.
So what do you think is the best response to seeing a Hydralisk Den like this? Do you think there's like a really high win percent option here that can give you a good fighting chance against a Hydralisk build if you spot it early on?
It depends on what happened to you. If your economy isn't in shambles like this, then you have the option of just immediately throwing down a 3rd base yourself and leveraging that gas advantage by getting more muters early, and then abusing the immobility of the Hydras. And they shouldn't be able to attack you as long as you're constantly dogging the Hydras with your muters and you're threatening counterattacks. So you're forcing them to make more spores back at home if they want to push and attack you. So I feel like that's the highest win percentage here, because especially on Sylphid with the mineral patches right up against the cliff like this, like it's just too abusable. Like you should be able to force them to make like 3 spores before wanting to move out with the amount of mutants you can produce.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely the finesse play. That's a really good play. One option that I've tried out myself is going for Lurker in this situation. Like get a 3rd base and just get Lurker. And if you can surprise your opponent with that, they think you're building mutas and you actually pop out with some lurkers, then you can hold off everything and you can hold off a 3rd base, right? High ground lurker is just insanely powerful. So like 2 lurkers on a high ground will defend a kind of crazy number of Hydras if they try to break up that. And then they're sitting there building Hydras, and you've already gone to lurker. You can get into Hive and Dark Swarm and just take all of the map, and that's a way that I've messed around with playing, but maybe that's not feasible here with the kind of economic game state for JB right now.
Yeah, no, in terms of like the amount of gas required to do that, it wouldn't be viable because of how slow the 2nd gas timing would have been for JB. With how, yeah, but you're right though. That is definitely a very viable way of playing, and very strong if you're good at doing that as well. Like it can just put yourself into like an almost checkmate scenario where they can't really do anything to kill you, and you can even sometimes like set up a contain and just demolish them early game. If like they don't know that you're going lurkers and you just contain them with lurkers early game, like there's nothing they can really do.
Oh boy, way too many drones here in the main base for JB right now. So many drones saturating this main base. This is way too much. She really needs to make sure to have at least 1 drone per patch. You need 1 drone per patch in this matchup. Otherwise, the natural base that you've taken is just kind of useless. 3rd base going to come up here for Kahiri, and JB's sitting at home building Sunken Colony. She's not scouting the map at the same time with her Mutalisk. She really needs to be out here. I don't know if you agree with this. She needs to be out here actually harassing these mutas and making sure, or harassing the hydras, you know, getting little pickoffs here and there so that she can, you know, limit the number of hydras, right? Am I right? I don't want to
Yeah,
sit
no,
here.
you're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. I don't know why. Maybe she's worried that Kahiri isn't staying on Hydras, and she's worried that maybe there was a Spire somehow got thrown down earlier on, and there's going to be a Muta switch, and she's worried because of the earlier double gas timing of Kahiri that there'd be a sizable amount of Mutas and stuff, and she doesn't want to risk like getting her Mutas caught, maybe, or rather getting counter-attacked by Mutas while she's trying to attack, and having her Mutas defended by spores, and also having her drones killed for free, because she knows Kahiri has spore advantage, right? So it makes sense that she wants to be more defensive in her posturing, considering that. So maybe she's worried about the spire transition from Kahiri.
Maybe, but you definitely want to send something out on the map to get some scouting information. And it looks like a Ling has been sent to the top left. She's going to spawn this third base right as it's coming up. And we should be building spores here right away for Kahiri. You do not want to have a sporeless base because the counterattacks will be so powerful with the Mutalist play. So Kahiri going to send Hydras over there to clear out that one Ling, and JB going to send more additional Lings to try and deal some damage over there. But this is looking rough right now for JB. I know that she's actually got an overall advantage in terms of supply, but this third base is going to come online now. And the upgrades are coming through for Kahiri. She's got a kind of a mass number of Hydras, and you know the Mutalist play is really good versus Hydra if you can take these small fights. But once Hydra are in this huge clump, the Mutas really can't hold a candle to the overall damage of these Hydras here.
Yeah, and to be fair, JB seems to be a very capable player, but not very able to multitask dealing with these like Mutalist harassment while also macroing back at home. I feel like she's lacking in that skill set a little bit, and that's going to allow Kahiri to abuse that fact that she's not on top of this constant Muta harass and trying to get damage. And she's building more and more creep colonies as well, so she's really scared. She's the one that's feeling passive and defensive right now and under threat. And that's going to make her double down into that defensive posturing. If Kahiri does make the mistake of attacking her now, though, that will actually be really good for JB. But if Kahiri doesn't attack and instead just like contains, finds his third base, kills his third base while also expanding and macroing up herself, I feel like Kahiri's got like a free win here. But there is a chance here that JB is attacked and actually these Sunkens pay off. So if Kahiri does go for the trigger pull here, this could be costly for Kahiri. I don't feel like she should go for the attack.
Yeah, she should not go for this attack for sure. She needs to go find this third base, but she's setting up like she looks like she wants to attack in. Do you think that this is a good idea right now for JB to send Mutas to the third and just kill that to kind of bait Kahiri into all these sunken colonies? Can the sunken colonies win versus this number of Hydras? Or they need the support of the Mutas?
They need the support of the Mutas. Yeah.
Okay. It's a math that we don't regularly calculate here. How many Mutas does it take to kill 10 sunken colonies? Well, here we go. We're going to find out. Hydra's coming forward, killing off these sunken colonies pretty rapidly. The surface area is not the best. The Mutas are going to come forward to assist. The worst has come to pass here for Kahiri. This is exactly what you were talking about. Pure Hydra versus Mutalist now, but the Hydra numbers are pretty low. A lot of them have been picked off, and the Mutas, I think, can win the day now with their +2 armor. Oh, maybe not. Kahiri having 2-2 finished is going to finish off these Mutas. The rallying Mutas going to waste right now, and JB back stuck in her base once again.
Yeah, as you can see, like even with the Muta support, it was still really hard to beat that number of Hydras. So yeah, that's why we see JB in such a defensive posture right now, because of how strong this Hydra force is. Now going to be coming out with some Muta Ling, though, actually trying to transition to Lurkers, and that's a lot more of a winnable fight for JB to take. But with a few rallied Hydras coming in, not going to be able to bust through still, and now Kahiri going to slowly set up a checkmate play and contain with some Lurkers, and doesn't know about this current third base online. So if JB can get this third gas going and somehow defends this base with some high ground sunken colonies, maybe there's a little bit of a lifeline in this game for JB going forward, but it's looking pretty dire for the time being. These sunkens are not as strong as they appear to be in this matchup. 2-2 Hydras will shred through those in no time at all without support.
Well, I wonder what was the actual play there. Maybe JB needed to wait a little bit longer, like let the sunken colonies fall and then go in with the mutas. Perhaps that was the right play because the sunken colonies are still there. I think she lost like maybe one, maybe two sunken colonies, but there was still enough hydras to fight the mutas, and now she's going to come forward once again. Muta's going to come out here, start to tank that damage. Sunken colonies dealing a lot of damage here on the backside. And the lurkers are in range of some of these sunkens, actually, and all the mutas are going to go down. You really need to have some mutas left over to deal with these lurkers here, and the Hydra's going to have to back away. That's quite the strange little interaction here we're seeing. JP holding on with Sunken and Muta, and Kahiri just continuing to pressure here with Lurker Hydra.
Yeah, JB's now starting to trickle in some gas from this third base Saiyan, so JB now going to have a little bit more units available to them to defend against this onslaught, so slightly more Mutalisks will be able to be fielded. For the time being, though, Zerglings are the unit of choice until that gas and minerals can be evened out more. We also see a Queen's Nest on the way, so you'll be seeing some tech switches as well going forward as this game state becomes a little bit stagnant.
This is interesting. Are we gonna get a hive? Okay, we are. Okay, here you're gonna switch to hive now. The sunken colonies do not do well against Darkswarm right here.
Well, I don't think I think we're more worried about the plague onto the mutas or the Darkswarm for the Hydras, but yeah. I don't think we need to worry about help with the sunken colonies.
Yeah, just Darkswarm in the front. The Sunkens do nothing. The Mutas do nothing, and Hydra should be able to push forward for the win. So the timer is here on JB. She has to utilize this and leverage this gas that she's got here at the third and break out of this. But again, Kahiri just going to go forward. She's not going to wait for that timing. Instead, just going to make a big attack happen. You got to gun down these lurkers here because the Lings do nothing in this situation. Looks like Kahiri just going to push forward for the win. Those lurkers absolutely shredded all of the Lings here. And JB gonna lose her natural, trying to throw down desperation sunken colonies, but Lings popping out are gonna die immediately to the Hydras and lurkers. And GG is called. JB taps out, and Kahiri takes that victory. Ah, man.
Oh, man.
A bit of an anti-climax there for the end of this game, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. She gets the clapper from KCM, and I mean, deserved for going Hydra and CVC twice in a row, no less.
Yeah, and making it look like a pretty strong choice, especially against these female tier players that don't quite have the high level Mutalisk micro required to really abuse that strategy.
All right, an unfortunate ending there to our match number 1. Kahiri managing to take down JB, but Team Queen is not out of the races yet. As you can see, match 3, they're going to be going up against the winner of match 2, and potentially we're going to see a rematch versus Team Light in the finals of match 4, which is kind of exciting. I'm glad that we're not seeing the end of Team Queen just yet.
Yeah, it's nice to see that they're still alive and kicking. I'm curious to see, though, going into this match number 2, Bisu versus Hero, are the apes going to show up and just like actually play really well all of a sudden? Like we have seen in KCM history, like suddenly they like show up and actually like, you know, they like the chimps want to smash all of a sudden, you know?
Yeah, that would just be so KCM race war. That's been the trend. Protoss doing absolutely nothing or next to nothing in the regular season, and then at the playoffs finally, you know, coming back and, you know, getting into the finals and sometimes winning. It's crazy how consistently they do that, just show up in the finals. But Team Hisu here, we'll see what they can pull out. I mean, got Mini on that squad. That squad is pretty OP. Bisu and Mini having both those amazing Protoss players in there. But Team Hero has just been so strong all season.
Yeah, they have been. Bisu does have that one Terran designated female driver to make sure they get to the match on time, so that at least the chimps will be able to show up on time, and hopefully they can have a good match of it. But yeah, Hero's been really solid, and one of my favorites actually. Would like to see them going forward here, I think for sure, because I would love to see Hero versus Team Queen in match number 3.
Yeah, that would be the rematch from the finals of the second half with Team Hero versus Team Queen. So that would be amazing. Going to be hoping for that result. Of course, if Bisu goes through, it's not a problem for us. We'll be happy to cast that match as well. But guys, that's it for the match number 1 of our playoffs. Join us here in a couple of days for match number 2, Team Hero versus Team Bisu. We'll see you guys then.